It's the most wonderful time of the year for NFL players. No, we're not talking about Christmas. We're talking about the playoffs and cashing in after Week 18. Guys are already motivated to make the postseason, but making the wallet a little fatter doesn't hurt either. In today's video, we look at some of the NFL's most notable contract bonuses and the players who either cashed in or missed out. Let's start counting those dollar signs. Ravens, OBJ and Clowney. Odell Beckham Jr. has created a legacy for himself both on and off the field. He's built a life that most people could only dream of having. And along the way, he's made an insane amount of money doing it. He's already worth $40 million. But he unfortunately didn't cash in after Baltimore's Week 18 game against the Steelers. OBJ could have made a maximum of $1.25 million if he had caught at least 5 passes, had at least 165 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. But since the Ravens have won the AFC North and locked up the top seed in their conference, there was no need for him to play. So he rested along with the other Ravens starters while Baltimore waits to see who they'll play in the divisional round between Cleveland or Houston. His teammate, linebacker Clowney, cashed in big time though. Clowney notched a sack on Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph last week, which tied his career high of 9.5 sacks in the season. That one sack earned him an additional $750,000 in incentives, and he made sure people knew about it with one of the most memorable sack dances in a long time. Chiefs, Chris Jones. Even if OBJ missed out on his bonuses, a big man in Kansas City will be celebrating all the way to the bank. Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones just hit 10.5 sacks for the season last week when Kansas City won a tight 13-12 game against the LA Chargers. This means he cashed in on an impressive $1.25 million bonus. His teammates made sure to show him some love too. He sacked Chargers QB Easton Stick to get the bonus, and then was mobbed by everyone as soon as he came over to the sideline. Not only does Jones mean a lot to his teammates, his production and defensive presence means a lot to the Chiefs as a whole. This is now the 3rd season Jones has had at least 10.5 sacks, and the Chiefs will be leaning on the 5-time Pro Bowler to lead the defense in the playoffs. Titans, DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins had a bittersweet ending to 2023. The Titans eliminated their AFC South rivals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, from playoff contention with an upset win, and ended the season on a high note. But they missed the playoffs with a 6-11 record. D-Hop secured the bag though. He took home $500,000 for hitting 2 of his 3 incentives, 75 catches and 1,050 yards. He could have made it $750,000 in bonuses if he had caught 1 more touchdown against the Jags. But he still had a solid year for the Titans. The next guy on this list had a solid year, but he lost out on a big bonus and the postseason in Week 18. If you're a Seahawks fan, brace yourself. Seahawks, Gino Smith. Gino Smith has done a fantastic job resurrecting his career with the Seahawks. The 2022 Pro Bowler and Comeback Player of the Year just posted his 2nd straight season of throwing 20 or more touchdown passes. But unlike in 2022, the Seahawks barely missed the playoffs this year. Players and fans are already bummed out when their team misses the postseason, but this one might sting a little bit for Gino Smith. Not only did Seattle just narrowly miss the playoffs, Smith also lost out on the chance to make a whopping $2 million in bonus money. All he had to do was get Seattle to the playoffs, and he unfortunately couldn't seal the deal this time. Packers, Jordan Love. Even though Seattle might have missed the playoffs, one of the reasons they did was thanks to this man. Jordan Love and Green Bay locked up the final playoff spot in the NFC with a win over the Chicago Bears last week. Jordan Love has had a fantastic season for Green Bay. He finished 2023 in the top 10 in their quarterback rating, touchdowns, and yards. The future looks bright for the Pack, with their 25-year-old gunslinger leading the way. And one of the big reasons Packer fans should be excited is that the team rewarded his hard work for them with a big-time bonus. Not only did the Packers notch their 10th win in a row over the Bears, but winning that game also meant that Jordan Love earned an extra $500,000 in bonuses. Green Bay is the youngest team in the playoffs, but giving their best players a chance to earn incentives like this might encourage them to stay around in Titletown and help build the Pack back into a championship-winning football team. It was a smart move by the Packers brass to reward Jordan Love and put their faith in him as their quarterback of the future. Buccaneers, Levante David and Baker Mayfield. The Buccaneers are NFC South champions for the third time in a row, and a big reason for the team's success in 2023 is the resurgence of their quarterback, Baker Mayfield. He has statistically had the best season of his career, throwing for over 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. Those are both career highs. And his success definitely hasn't gone unnoticed. Mayfield has already made bank this year by playing over 85% of the team's snaps this season. That netted him a cool $1 million. But in addition to that, he also bagged a combined $3.1 million for not only leading the Bucs to the playoffs, but for also being in the top 10 in the NFL for yards and touchdowns. And there's more money for him to make if Tampa advances in the playoffs. For every playoff game the Buccaneers win, Mayfield is set to make $250,000. If Baker's already made this kind of money from the best season of his career, who knows what he'll bag next if the Bucs make a run. Mayfield's teammate, linebacker Levante David, missed out on securing his bonus, though. He needed only one sack to bag $150,000. But even though the Bucs won an ugly 9-0 game against the division rival Panthers, David couldn't get home and sack the quarterback. Texans, Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary. The Houston Texans are back in the playoffs for the first time since 2019, led by rookie C.J. Stroud. But two of Stroud's teammates not only made it to the postseason, they also had a chance to make big-time bank. Unfortunately for Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary, they both left money on the table in Week 18. Even though the Texans won a thrilling game over the Colts and claimed the AFC South, Schultz and Singletary missed out on a combined $500,000 in bonuses. Singletary needed to hit 73 scrimmage yards to earn $250,000 and barely missed it by only getting 6 scrimmage yards. Tight end Dalton Schultz cashed in on his first bonus, taking home $250,000 for snagging 4 catches, but he missed out on doubling it to $500,000. To get that, he needed 6 catches to have 60 receptions for the season, but had only 5 catches for 42 yards. But if the Texans beat the Browns in the wildcard game, that could help Schultz and Singletary forget all about it. Vikings, Alexander Madison. The Vikings had an up-and-down season in 2023, ultimately missing the playoffs and finishing 7-10. But one of the few bright spots for Minnesota was the season by running back Alexander Madison. Minnesota struggled to run the football for most of the year, but Madison did have games where he rushed 81, 93, and 95 yards. He had a solid season and was in line to cash in on a $250,000 bonus if he ran for 74 yards against the Lions. This would have brought his season rushing total to 750 yards. Unfortunately for Madison, he only got 24 yards against Detroit, and the Lions beat the Vikings 30-20 to end the year. If Minnesota can have a better ground game in 2024, look for Madison to have a chance to cash in on big future bonuses. Falcons, Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree. It was a rough season for Atlanta. The Falcons not only went 7-10 and lost an ugly final game to the Saints, 48-17. Head coach Arthur Smith was fired after 3 seasons. Things didn't get any easier for Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree either. Both of them missed out on cashing sizable bonuses and left a combined $1.5 million on the table. Calais Campbell needed 3 sacks against the Saints and only got 1, while Dupree needed a pair of sacks to bag a $1 million bonus, but only got 1 as well. Things might even get worse for Atlanta going into 2024 too, since Bud Dupree and Calais Campbell are both free agents very soon, and they will obviously go to teams who not only pay them more, but who can also seriously contend for a Super Bowl championship. The NFL is a money-making machine, a giant of the sports world that churns out over $18 billion a year. And the biggest reason for that isn't advertising or sponsorships, it's the players. The superstars that play this game are the National Football League's biggest resource, and they expect to be paid like it. The NFL is a massive business, and they want their cut. These are just a few of the players who have earned the biggest slices of the postseason pie as the NFL continues to grow and expand into the future. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe button, and click on our most recent video here. From all of us here at Super Bowl, thanks for watching.